Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regular meeting. As the public can see, we are proudly displaying our Newfoundland and Canadian flag as a show of our solidarity toward our local and provincial and federal businesses and the workers from coast to coast to coast. And tonight I'm proud to display my green tie, and green is the color of hope. So let us hope that these proposed tariffs between Canada and the United States will never come to pass, because it will certainly be a lose-lose situation scenario for both our countries. So we are here again proudly displaying our support and solidarity for all of our businesses right across this country and all the workers. Would anybody like to say a few words? Good. Okay, with that said, I will now call the meeting to order. The agenda is there before you. Could I have a motion to approve, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor King. All those in favor? Motion is carried. All right, the minutes of the meeting from January 7th. Are there any errors or omissions? If not, are there any business arising? No. And correspondence, we do have a couple of pieces of correspondence, and they will be addressed and highlighted under the committee updates. Now we'll move on to planning and development. We have Deputy Mayor Woodford and Councillor Windsor.
Good evening, everybody. The Planning and Development Committee, we met on January 15th. It was via Zoom with Krista Turnbull, Robert Stacey, Councillor Steve Windsor, and myself in attendance. There were 7 applications reviewed at the time. We have 5, I believe, recommended for approval tonight through our motions. 1 piece of correspondence that was reviewed as well. The other couple of applications there required a discretionary use ad, so we're waiting to hear back from any responses on that. And another was a subdivision agreement. We need to get that document finalized, and there was additional information that we required on the infrastructure for that application. Unfortunately, we don't have any update on our town plan or our subdivision agreement tonight, but we're hoping to have an update for our next meeting. And I think that's it. I'll turn it over to Councillor Windsor. Do you have anything to add? Okay. Yeah, for sure. We do have a few motions tonight, and first and foremost is our permit listing. Be it resolved to table and approve the attached permit listing. There were 8 permits issued from January 1st to the 23rd, 2025, and the permit numbers were 01-0001-25 to 01-0008-25, and they include permits for occupancy, accessory building, and general repairs. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Crowley. Further discussion? Not. All those in favor? Motion is carried.
The next is for residential build at 29 Green Acres. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. The applicant requested a variance to reduce the frontage from 23 meters to 22.86 meters. A variance notice was distributed to area residents. That was back in April of last year. No comments were received by the deadline date. So this is now the application for the actual build. So moved.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Those against? Motion is carried.
The next is for a residential build as well on 131 North Side Road. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Windsor. Further discussion?
That's just a residential build and it fit all of our regulations. We had everything in.
Okay. All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
The next is for another residential build at 40A Brophy's Road. The zoning is RLD1. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle under Regulation 10 and subject to the Town of Holyrood Development Regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion?
This,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, so this application, because you're going to see Regulation 10, and you're all around the table are going to say, we didn't do any of that recently. This was an application that was done, I believe, back in 2022, that we received this in 2022. The permit was not picked up, it expired. So we already looked at this under Regulation 10. It was a backlot development in RLD1. However, in our RLD1, it doesn't address backlot. However, it was an error that was done in the town plan and regulations when it was done several years ago. And that was confirmed by our town planner, that should have been in that zone. So therefore, we used Regulation 10. We explained that around the table at the time, and everyone approved it, so we didn't feel it was necessary to rehash it all again. It was just reissuing the permit.
Yeah, and that's all documented on the file from that time period.
Yes.
And just for the benefit of our viewers, RLD means residential low density. They
yes.
are a bigger lot, and I think it's unserviced.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, no other questions, comments? All those in favor? Against, motion is carried.
The next is for a residential build in the valley. The civic address has yet to be determined, but it is another backlot development. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Against, motion is carried.
The next is for a residential build, 120 Country Path. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Crowley. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Against, motion is carried.
And the last is a proposed amendment that we received. It's St. John's Urban Regional Plan Amendment Number 6, 2024. Municipal Plan Amendments Number 22, 2024. Development Regulations Amendment Number 37, 2024. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood has no comment on the proposed amendment from the Town of Portugal Cove, St. Philip's. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Crowley. Further discussion? All those in favor? Those against? Motion is carried.
I just need to say that it's great to see all of these residential bills coming to the table. You know, it's excellent, right? Excellent to see that. So
Yeah,
keep them coming.
It's on the rise.
All right, that's it for planning and development, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. And now we'll move on to recreation and community events. And Councillor Tilley was unable to join us this evening for personal reasons. So we have Councillor King that's going to provide the update.
We had our recreation meeting on January the 15th, 25. Recreation Director Kyle Hawker in attendance, as well as CAO Marjorie Gibbons, Councillor Tilley. Mayor was on the phone, and I was in attendance. First of all, we focused on the Crystal Carnival. This year we've got it extended to 10 days, gives us more time to get more activities in. It will begin on February the 22nd and end on March the 2nd. A lot of events are planned, and everyone should have their flyer by now. They were in the mail last week. There are events planned for all ages, so people should try and take in as much as they possibly can. It is in our town. Squid Fest, the location has changed for this year. Instead of being on the marina, it will now be at the ball field. And this is to accommodate the next phase of the boardwalk improvements. Okay. Mini Movers, Active for Life, and a Zumba will begin the first week of January. I think Mini Movers was cancelled Sunday past, waiting on an instructor. There is a Recreation Newfoundland Conference being held in Grand Falls from April the 29th to May the 2nd. And the committee recommends sending our director, because that is where you pick up a lot of information, a lot of networking, when networking comes to these conferences. So funding is available in the recreation budget. So after I give my update, we'll do a motion to send a recreation director. Work will also be taking place on the community garden this year. New fencing has been ordered, and I think it's received and will be installed in the spring. We're also looking at purchasing 40 37-gallon tumble composters. They will be at a subsidized rate of $45 plus HST, and they will be available to our residents as soon as we get them at cost. With regard to our new community center, a concept design has been provided, and surveying of the site has been completed as well. And I think we'd have a public consultation for that building as well before we'd make any further improvements.
Yes.
And we also talked about the softball field. So the extension has been completed, new fencing and sod, and we're hoping to have the lighting installed this year. Money has been budgeted for lighting. So that's the update for recreation. And we also have a motion. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood approves the Director of Recreation and Community Services to attend the Recreation Newfoundland Annual General Meeting and Conference in Grand Falls, Windsor, April 29th to May the 1st. This is an opportunity to meet other recreation directors across Newfoundland and Labrador and share information, ideas, and discover new ways of improving how we provide recreational services to our residents. It is a wonderful learning opportunity. The cost for the conference, including all expenses, is $1,150, which will be absorbed within the recreation budget. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Bruce King. Further discussion? And these are great conferences for recreation, as we've learned from the past, because there's a lot of information that you know that you can learn, you can get at these conferences.
They are, all
And,
conferences are.
You know, it's quite a it's great. It's a benefit for the town. Okay. With that said, all those in favor, those against, motion is carried. Okay. We'll move on to Infrastructure and Public Works. We have Councillor Windsor and Councillor King.
Do a sound check here now. Make sure that's going well down there, DJ. Okay, folks. Thank you, Mayor. Infrastructure and Public Works Committee met on January 30th. All committee members were in attendance. So it's myself, Councillor Sadie King, Director Stacey, CAO Gibbons, and yourself, Your Worship. Number one, there's a lot of stuff here, by the way, so buckle up. First meeting of the year for us, right, in the committee. But first off, and this was an item that arose after we met, but I think it's number one thing to talk about, which was the water line break outage of service on the weekend. On Saturday, on Route 60, on Taplan's Hill, you know, unfortunately there was an outage and went on for quite a long period of time. And number one, you know, thanks to the residents, you know, for bearing with us and being very patient. Some of the affected households have hot water radiation heat, so in winter, you know, that's a double whammy, right? You need the water, not just for your showers and your dishes and all your things, but the heat too, right? So very frustrating. And we were ready to you know, reach out and sort of take some almost like emergency measures to allow people to avail of warming centers and things of that nature, right? But you know, big shout out to the crew. Terrible conditions to work under. I went by there a few times throughout the afternoon and into the evening, and you know the cold and the water and the muck and it's freezing. Hard conditions to work in, right? And not anybody want to do it, but our crews, they do it, and they do it without complaint. And thank you so much for what you do. And communications, I know in these situations you want as much communication coming if you're an affected resident especially, you know, but we were trying our best to get updates in real time, know where we were, what a projected solution could be, and then get, you know, it posted publicly, right? So unfortunately we weren't able to put them out every 20 minutes, but you know, we did try our best to keep people as informed as possible. All that being said, you know, we brought forward a couple of observations, different councillors, the public as well, and we agreed at the next committee meeting we'd have lessons learned, positive and negative, like we do for all these sorts of projects, unplanned or planned, right? So we'll take that away and we'll talk about that and see what went well and what maybe could have done better. But thanks to everybody for bearing with us, and thanks to the workers for getting it back in service. Terrible time of year. Easier to do that in the middle of summer, no doubt. All right. So that was that one. Wasn't on our committee meeting, but I wanted to talk about it. The recycling bins. Recycling bins on Duff Strait and Ridge Road. Unfortunate situation here. These bins are not being used for their original intent. Years ago, I think they were put there for a recycling program. They were left there, and they've been maintained by the town, collecting the recyclables. We do have a curbside recycling program, right? These bins are now being used inappropriately, household garbage, for whatever reason, don't know, don't speculate. Maybe someone missed their garbage day, so well, rather than having it in my box or garage, maybe I'll just put it down to those bins. Or someone's driving by on their way to their cabin, they got something they want to put in there. Can only speculate on the rationale, but our staff are having to deal with it, and it's not something they really should have to deal with. We do have a curbside program, so the plan is to remove them. We're not just going to remove them one day and people will be wondering what's going on. We're going to prepare a communication around it, what's happening, why it's happening, and when it's going to happen, so people will see that post and hopefully understand it. That's recycling. Back Road had a washout from one of our recent storm events, and this is coastal erosion. This is a problem that's happening everywhere now, you know, with climate change, more significant weather events. So this is an example of seeing some of that. And it creates a safety issue, like it's eroded in, you know, within a foot of the asphalt. So we are going to offer agreement that was put in place. You might remember that last year. So we're going to get a price. What is it going to take to put some armor stone and reshore that? And once we get the price, we'll evaluate it and get that work done. It is a safety concern. The outfalls at Boland's and Healy's. So we were reviewing those drawings. There's a lot of information there for the committee to understand, and we need to do a little bit more information gathering on that before we take any steps around addressing the outfalls. More to come on that. Something came up in regards to water line extension applications. Interesting. It's from a particular area. I'm not going to get into specifics of that, because what the committee agreed to was that we need to develop a process for this. So if someone came in and said, well, I want to extend a water line to my property, it's not currently there, I'm on a well, or I don't want to be on a well, and I want to pay for that at my cost, how does that work, right? At first blush, you might say, well, that's fine, they're paying for it, what else? But the town is now extending its network of pipe it needs to maintain. Right, just something to think about. That we currently, information purposes, 33 kilometers of water line we're responsible for in this town. So someone makes an application, we just need a process for it. Not to say we won't approve of that, but we don't have an existing process to prioritize and approve it, make sure it's to the correct specification, contractor that does it installs it the way it's supposed to. If he's putting any cuts in the road gets put back the way it's supposed to. All these quality things. So we need to talk about that a little bit further and come back to council. Yeah, well, exactly. Well, we would be, right? Except for the line to the house, right? So an extension line on a public road would be ours. The line going into the person's property, that's a service line, curb stop in, that's them. But we need to hammer out some of these details and put it on paper.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist now, right? So it's that. Country path residential culverts. There are two very problematic culverts under driveways. They're only 10 inches. And every time we have heavy rain, it causes some flooding on the road. It's a safety concern. And we have already agreed that we need to be increasing the size of the culverts anyhow. These two are a particular problem. It's a safety concern. And the committee recommended that we ask Public Works go ahead and replace those culverts. It's a positive improvement. Asset disposal. You might remember me talking about the old dump truck, 2005, right? Too much of an investment to put back on the road. We're going to dispose of the asset to auction. Committee is moving forward with that, but we're also wanting to put to paper the process for asset disposal, things to be mindful of, setting the correct reserve price, so we set a minimum price that we would have. If we get better, that's good. But we want to document all that, and that'll be applicable for other assets in the future going forward, right?
Absolutely.
The gateway signs as you come into our town, so they're in poor condition, right? They're not all brick. That's gemstone on top of plywood, right? Plywood's rotting. A lot of problems with them, and that's the way you welcome someone to your town. If it's going to be dilapidated or get to a dilapidated condition, we're better off not having anything there at all, right? Put it back to the way it was, make it nice and new. That's a positive thing. So we've asked the staff to just get a plan together, an estimate, and it's not an urgent thing, like, fixing a water line break. It's just, that's urgent, right? But it is something that's important, I think, and we gotta make sure that we improve it at the right time for the right cost. So staff's gonna get a little bit more information for us. We'll bring it back to the council so you can judge for yourselves, is that something that we should be spending money on, okay? It's part of the marketing and all the business development, everything you're doing for our town. I would recommend it, but let's get the numbers first and we'll talk about it. The Abidas pumps, so we've had issues with those pumps, the original specified pumps for the system, and what we talked about was upgrading the specification to a more reliable, robust pump. No sense having a pump there that every year you're changing it out. It's just throwing more good money after bad, So director's going to get some information on an improved spec pump, what that costs, and then we come back to council for an approval to spend the money. Paving and ditching, so we're looking forward. Right now we're plowing the roads, but we are starting to talk about improving the roads already, because that process starts early, right? And we'll be bringing forward priorities for paving and the ditching campaign, which was a great success last year. A few little lessons learned there. We went at it very aggressively, and I think that we may approach it on like a two separate campaign basis this summer, but it's going to improve. So a little bit of a smaller scale, and we're identifying the roads that will be on the list to be done. The business plan is presented to committee, and CAO's asked all the directors to have those plans prepared and brought to committees, and they will be available on social media channels. There's not a date set, but in coming months. And just a couple more things. Newfoundland Labrador Hydro Project. So the rock construction has started stockpiling materials next to the trailway by Indian Pond, if anyone's noticed. And those materials are coming from Rock's construction quarry down to CBS. And all stakeholders, if there are any questions, all stakeholders have provided approval for this work. Parks NL is monitoring the trailway because that's under their jurisdiction as a linear park. And of course we've had social media posts that have been put up there by Hydro, Town of Holyrood, so lots of communication happening there. Just bring that forward here once again. The stockpile location actually falls outside our town boundary, but being an important fixture to the town and project, a lot of traffic coming and going, it's important for everyone to be aware of it. And last but not least, the mayor did mention at the beginning of the meeting correspondence. There's correspondence received and passed along to committee. So we did receive a letter from Garden Road residents requesting consideration to extend the sewer line. So we discussed the letter at the committee, and we're going to do some more research and discussion, investigation around the business case, you know, the priorities for the town. There are a lot of areas that, you know, are on the list for potential improvements or not. So we had to look at that. All right. So just want to acknowledge the letter. Very good letter, very professionally written, and that's what we'd like to see, of course. But we need to consider, you know, the budget priorities along with other factors. So stay tuned on that. And before I sit down, yes, just a couple of facts for you. I mentioned the 33 kilometers of water line we're responsible for, and we're also responsible for the 26 kilometers of paved road and 3 kilometers of unpaved road, which we're trying to keep clear and safe for everyone for the winter. And I think the guys are doing a great job of it. Very slippery this afternoon, and they were out promptly again, right? So there's a lot of work being done by that group. So thank you folks for that. Councillor Sadie King, did I miss anything?
No, you didn't.
There's a bit of mouthful. You start going, right? And don't want to sit down. You want me to sit down? Any questions? Okay, very good.
I just.
you have a question?
Thank you.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
Councillor King, and then Councillor
Yeah, I
Sadie.
have something to say.
No, I just have one comment because with regards to the recycling down on the corner, because I go by there every single morning. I don't miss a morning. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people are using it for what it was designed for. But over the past couple of weeks, I've seen bags of garbage down there next to the recycling bin, and that's you can look at it because it's in the clear plastic, and you know
Household garbage.
it's household garbage. It's not recycling material. I know there was one time there, people piled a big pile of cardboard boxes up there, and the wind took it, and I know Public Works had to go down and clean it all up. You know, so so it is. It's unfortunate, but you know, people need to understand. It's there for recycling. It's not there because you want to drop off your household garbage. So I think it's unfortunate, but I support that move. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Sadie.
Just going to
King.
say, Steve, you had a lot of articles to deal with this evening. But the only thing I want to say is I observed firsthand what happened this weekend. It was right in front of my door. I had just come back from the library and went in my house, and a few minutes after that, it was just like a raging torrent going down Holyrood Hill. Water, rocks going everywhere. And only for the quick action of our Public Works staff, there'd be 2 driveways gone on the other side of the road. There were 2 gravel driveways.
That's off.
It was really, really raging down there. So, like, I was out talking to them at different times. Conditions were really bad. The ground was soft. The excavator was taking up the gravel. It was falling back in. The water was coming up. The pumps were freezing up. And it was cold, believe you me. For 9 hours, those people were there working. So I hope our residents are impressed with them as well as I am, because they really did their all on Saturday. Really to be commended.
Absolutely. Okay, that is the Public Works update. Great update, folks. Now we'll move on to Economic Development. Deputy Mayor, you're up.
Okay. The economic development, we had our working session on January 27th with our CAO, our mayor, and myself in attendance. One new business application was reviewed at that time. which had already been vetted through planning and development. And now we're awaiting the responses from the discretionary use ed. That's one of those applications that we had that we couldn't move forward without that. We do have the business plan, lovely, for our economic development department. That's completed. It's going to go up on our website, I think, tomorrow, which is great. Everyone have a look. The mandate of that department and the committee is to foster and support local economic activity for the overall sustainability of the town. The current report, which of course references the operational review strategic plan, that references us promoting local business, expanded development, and attracting new investment as the core responsibilities of this department. So the committee and council will continue to work hard at ensuring Holyrood is open for business, and that we're going to support existing businesses within the community as we always have, and we are going to work at identifying new business opportunities as well. You know, the provincial government is doing this as well through the Department of Industry, Energy and Technology. They provide you know, they take investment companies that come into the province and they connect them up with municipalities. So to create opportunities. So I mean, you know, that's one important thing, and we're kind of, you know, working on that as well within our own town. The committee continues to recognize issues, of course, with the unregistered businesses. And we've been talking about this for a long time. But we still continue to try to work with our local entrepreneurs to register their business with the town. We want to thank all of our registered businesses and business owners who have complied with the regulation. And we feel it's still necessary to continue to work on getting everyone registered that is operating here in Holyrood. It creates a fair system for all of the business community. So in saying that, we're planning to host a business session. We don't have the date set yet. We're working on the date, but it is on unregistered businesses. And it's an attempt for us, again, to try to get people to register their businesses with the town. The session, you know, we're hoping the session is going to attract our current business owners to come out and, you know, to help us strategize, because yes, we're doing things, some of it is working, some of it is not working. We have to come up with some strategic way of getting everyone on board with registering with the town. So we're asking our business community to come out as well and to work with the people who are going to facilitate this session to come up with new ideas, something for us to work towards. Newfoundland Hydro is hosting 2 upcoming open houses on the proposed combustion turbine project at the Holyrood generating site here. The public are invited to attend, and the first session is February 17th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the IBEW building on Liam Hickey Drive. The other is February 20th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Parsons Rotary Clubhouse at 1706 Conception Bay Highway there in Kelligrews. So, you know, we'll post that up on our social media site, on our Facebook page, and when the time is there, it's an open opportunity to go in. It's not going to be a formal presentation. They're going to give have some documents around you can have a look at. You can ask questions. So it's a great opportunity to get to know what's going on down here. And as the mayor alluded to in the opening remarks there, I just wanted to say something, because we are economic development and business. And, you know, given the uncertainty of our country's, really, not just our province, but our country's future economic situation regarding the impending U.S. tariffs, now more than ever, I know we always try to promote local and everything, but now more than ever, we need, it's the time for us to buy local and to buy Canadian. Okay? So we, around here, around the table, you know, and the town will continue to support our local business community here in Holyrood, and we encourage each and every one of you out there to do the same.
There we go.
That's it from economic development.
Well said,
Okay.
Deputy Mayor. Any other questions or comments regarding that update? Okay. I couldn't help myself that time. Honestly, like, you know, it's a mindset that I've adopted a long time ago, is that, you know, you see that fruit and vegetable stand on the side of the road, you know, when you want to buy your local vegetables and whatever, buy local, because, oh, okay, carry on.
As Steve said, it's a lot tonight, for sure. But we do have our initial findings on the Green Transit Initiative, and from our consultant, Peck Curran and Associates. So this was presented to us, was given to us a couple of days ago. So the plan is, at the committee level, we're going to take this document, look at it, discuss it, and then come back to council, give you guys a copy, and see how there's a way forward with this Green Transit Initiative. Okay, I just wanted to get that out there, that we do have it.
Yep,
Thanks.
good. So I'll just pick up now very quickly where I was to earlier. And that's a very good point. This is the time right now when we all have to reach out and be cognizant and mindful that, you know, shopping local, it's key. It's something that we should all have been doing maybe a long time ago, but I think this is really after heightening the awareness right now. We have a lot of farmers, you know, that are selling meat products along the shore, you know, selling great products. We have a local store here in the community that recently opened up, and you know, they can keep the freezer full with the meat products, sausages and steaks and everything else. Good, high quality products. And you know, you drive along, there's people selling meat and fruit and vegetables along the shore. Whatever gift shops, whatever we can buy at the local level, this is where it's at. And I think this is the message that I would like to send out, and I'm sure you all agree 100%. So, great message, Deputy Mayor. Okay, with that said, we'll move on to public safety, and Councillor King, you're up.
That's right, I keep forgetting it. I gotta keep my average up. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to talk really, really slow so I can beat more Councillor Windsor. No. Anyway, we had our public safety meeting on January 21st. Those people in attendance was Councillor Tilley, the fire chief, and myself, and regrets from the mayor and the CAO. We had a very good discussion. One of the first topics that came up was policing, which is a common thing now across the board. And there's some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about tonight. It's going to be injected from the small town committee meeting. And that was one of the big topics that came up. I think there was 18 communities represented at the small town advisory committee all the way to the Northern Peninsula. And everybody was of the same mind that policing, a stronger police presence within all the communities is what they want, and what they need, right? They want this. There's nothing being directed at the RCMP officer that gets up every morning, puts on his uniform, and goes out and does his job. Okay, we need to discuss these things with the people at the very top, right? Because if you use an example, if Councillor Woodford went to a restaurant tonight and she wasn't happy with her meal, who she wanted to talk to, right? Or you went to a store and you weren't happy with the service, who you want to talk to? You want to talk to the person in charge. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to invite the Commissioner of the RCMP and the Public Safety Minister to a meeting here, very similar to what we did with Minister Abbott when we talked about the highways. We had Minister Abbott here twice. I'll get to that one after. But we want to make sure that people are safe in their homes, and when they call on the RCMP, or the police, they want to be able to make sure that they arrive there in a reasonable amount of time, right? There was an incident down in Marina Shores there a couple of days ago, and I saw it on the social media where these people, I'm not going to call them kids because nobody knows exactly if they were kids or not, but they were driving their ATVs back and forth across people's lawns, right? So there's no respect. And somebody even mentioned the fact, and I don't know if it was true or not, they even went through the cemetery, which is a place that, you know, nobody should be doing stuff like that. It's absolutely disrespectful and beyond comprehension that somebody would even do something like that. And some of the crime, and crime is going up, and Councillor King, because we were at the convention and the Assistant Commissioner of the RCMP was there, and he admitted first off, when he started his presentation, that crime is on the increase here in this province. And the other thing that he talked about was a shortage of people to enforce the law, right? So it's not coming from the council, it's coming from the head of the RCMP in Newfoundland. And the crime rate in Newfoundland increased by 5% from 2022 to 2023. Violent crime rose from 7,228 in 2015 to over 10,000 in 2023. Property crimes, which is a lot of the stuff that the RCMP in this area have to deal with, in 2023, per 100,000 residents, there was 3,961.16 crimes per 100, and that is high because we are number 6 in the country. Okay, so we are going to push out to have a meeting with the Commissioner of the RCMP and the Public Safety Minister. The next one after that was Route 60. Route 60 is something like Councillor Windsor talked about. Route 60 is falling apart. Okay, it's not fit to drive over, even now with the potholes and everything else and the road maintenance and stuff. You know, there was a lady talking about Saturday morning she drove in because people still work on the weekends. I don't, but there's people that get up every morning and Saturday and Sunday and they have to go to work. And the problem was the road was horrible all the way to Holyrood till she got to the Seal Cove campus, and then the pavement was as clean as the floor here. Okay, that needs to be addressed, right? And I concur with her because for 20 years I drove back and forth there every day, and the same thing. You get up to Holyrood, once you get to the CBS bypass road, it was like somebody took all the snow and got rid of it. So, and that's one other thing we're looking at is having a meeting, because now there is a new minister with infrastructure and public works and transportation. So that's two things we're looking at with regards to meetings. We talked about the radon kits, and actually I came up to the council office one day last week and waiting to see the CAO, and there was a gentleman standing there talking to the front desk, and he was putting his name in on the list for the radon kits, which is excellent. Okay, and as soon as we get them, we're looking at trying to get those that can be recharged. For example, Deputy Mayor can use it for 90 days. When it goes up to the techs and to the lab and gets read, it can be recharged, and then I can take it, and then somebody else can use it. So we can keep them forever, basically, as long as we keep recharging them. And people are very interested in wanting to use it. Right? Councillor Tilley was going to talk about the Adventure Smart. We're going to try it again, okay, with regards to Adventure Smart. And it is something that people should be interested in, because it was only a few days ago there was a gentleman lost in the woods. And all he was out walking with his dog, out for a leisurely walk. He got lost, and he had to stay overnight, but they did find him, and he was no worse to wear. So anyway, I'm going to let Councillor Tilley look after that, and once she settles on the date and the time, then it'll be passed on to residents, and hopefully people will attend. Okay? The other one is the fire school. From all accounts from the fire chief, the fire school that they had this weekend went really well. They had a lot of participation from St. John's, Torbay, and the fire department here ourselves, and they had an excellent turnout. So training is being conducted on a regular basis, and it's good to know that the people we have down there are doing a fantastic job. Okay. The other part, one of the other ones was there that was mentioned in the small towns, is the resolutions that this council put together and Councillor King and myself put forward at the convention out in Gander. The letters have all been sent out to the ministers, and they're hoping within the next couple of weeks to have a face-to-face with MNL, with the minister, to discuss all the different resolutions that were put forward at the convention. And one of those resolutions has to do with cell service and that. So hopefully there was something sensible will come out of that. Okay. The other one that came out of the small town advisory is MNL is looking to lobby the government for this year's budget to increase funding to the volunteer fire departments, specifically for training and travel. Right? Because if we have to send somebody, for example, to do training, I think this place is out in Grand Falls, and I think they do some training as well out in Stephenville. So that costs money to send people out there, accommodations, lodging, and stuff like that. So what they're trying to do now is to lobby them for more money, and a lot of the times they've been very, very successful. Right? And I think that's it. How much said for? Have we got your beat yet? Okay. In order to beat you, I got to repeat everything I just said. Okay, that's all I have there, Deputy Mayor. Or Mayor, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor King. Any questions, comments? I knew you weren't done.
And the last one, we did it last year, and it was a really, really good success. And I know there's not as much snow down right now as we would. Actually, I would like to see none. But last year we encouraged residents that if you had a fire hydrant next to your property, to clean it up. And last year was really good because I know down in that neck of the woods where I live, there was 2 or 3 times I went by and there was people out cleaning away the fire hydrants. It's for your own benefit, and it cuts down on the amount of time it takes for somebody to address an incident. And so I encourage residents to adopt the fire hydrant. Thank you.
It's really
Okay.
good for community hours as well for the high school students looking for community hours and looking for career hours. So I have my boys out at it.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we'll move on to communications. Councillor Crowley.
Yes, good evening, everyone. We met in January via Zoom, myself, Deputy Mayor, Kyle Hocko, CAO Marjorie Gibbons, and Sadie King, Councillor Sadie King. We discussed the completion of Nola's term as she collected information from our residents. We have our database complete with what she was able to gather, doing cold calls, people returning calls. However, we still have gaps in that database. So we strongly, again, we put the message out, we're putting it out again, we strongly encourage, if you have not spoken to someone at the office about your communication preferences and what you would like to know from your town, how you would like to receive that information from your town, then to reach out to us, call the front desk. We also talked about reviewing some of the stats that came out of that database, just how many people participated, what's the average type of calls or communication you want versus text messages, phone calls, emails, or just social media posts, what's the best way, mail outs. So we're going to look at some of those statistics and get some of the information from that database. We also participated in a presentation from Voyant, which is the application we're looking at adopting for our communication preferences. And that was online. It was a great presentation. Hope everyone got a chance to go through. And it does. It has so much information. I particularly like the way it's laid out. It shows like yellow for certain types of information communication, and then red alerts. So it'll show up a different color if it's, you have an alert system for something that was an emergency. It's available different ways. You can have text messages or you can have emails, whichever, using this Voyant. So it's an app. We're looking at adopting that. So once we get all the feedback from all counselors, if this is the way we want to go, then that's what we're going to use as our communication application. The Crystal Carnival flyer, as Councillor King mentioned, has come out. We made sure there was also not just the Crystal Carnival events on it, but some extra information that our residents would like to see at this time of the year. We mentioned about the budget. We have some information in on that as well. So take a look, make sure you go through it. There are some sign-up dates as well, so make sure you're getting in on those and signing up for the activities. I know around our house it was really exciting that they saw the teen one come up there. So, you know, we heard the teens were left out a little bit in the Squid Fest this year. They missed their movie, so it's nice to see them now. So again, communication, we're listening. All you need to do is communicate through the proper channels, and we listen as best as we can. I think that might be it. Councillor King, Deputy Woodford, anything else? I think that was it for communications for this month.
Okay, and you can stay on your taps, of course, because you got to pay the bills.
I will. Hey, Corporate Services and Administration met on January 30th. We had Director Marie Searle, Councillor King, Bruce King, myself, and CAO Marjorie Gibbons were in attendance. We discussed our invoices. All our invoices have gone out for now, except the utility. Of course, with the postal strike, there was a little bit in a delay of that information getting out. And I'm sure, talk about communication, you notice that, like, I know at our house, we've been getting invoices from back in November. First we got December, and then we got November, so whatever way it was stacked up in the postal facilities. It seems to be most of the backlog is out, but some of those invoices did get a little bit delayed. But most of them are out, so it's just the exception of our utility bills, and those invoices will be out very soon. Property tax bills came out in the mail, and we already have over 5% paid. So that's property, business, water, and sewer. And hopefully most people recognized the cut in some of those fees and services and things too for the water and sewer. We have, if anyone needed an assessment, we did the best to our ability to get out the information on the assessment process, and that will come up once again in June. When we submitted our budget for budget 2025, there were some adjustments made by Municipal Affairs, and those are in here in motions tonight. So you'll see some of those changes. And the last thing we had to look at was our donation policy, and we'll be tabling that and adopting that very soon. We had drafted it a long time ago, but it actually wasn't put through in a motion. So that's going to happen as well once everyone takes a look. So, Councillor King, did you have anything else you want to add? We just go through the motions? Literally going through the motions? Okay, here we go. Budget 2025. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood, in accordance with the Municipalities Act, Section 75 to 79, adopt the 2024 budget with operating revenues and expenditures totaling $4,781,419.22, representing changes in the increase in our municipal operating grant and federal gas tax. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor Crowley, seconded by Councillor King. Further
And
discussion?
The operative word being increase. Increase. So it wasn't decrease, it was an increase once we looked at all our incomes, outcomes, and everything. But was it for $40,000, approximately $40,000
Extra
increase.
revenue.
That we had
Extra revenue through operating grants and federal tax, the gas tax.
Okay.
So,
All right. All those in favor? Those against? Motion carried.
the donation. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve a donation of $500 to assist with medical travel for a local resident. We have been approached to assist a local family with the cost of traveling outside of province for cancer treatment. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crowley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? It was certainly a great cause, and we wish the family all the very best during this very, very difficult situation in which they're facing. Okay, all those in favor, those against, motion is carried.
And for our general bills, be it resolved, those accounts tabled in the amount of $150,267.92. Check numbers D4566 to D613 and 46714 to 46767 be approved for payment from the general account. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crowley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried.
And right now we have a healthy bank book balance of $25,324.58. Thank you.
Great. Keep it in the black there, Councillor Crowley. You ended off the year in the black. You're starting the year in the black. That's good. Good work with the committee and everybody. Okay, we'll do the go-around now, starting with the Deputy Mayor. You're good. Councillor King.
No, I just got a couple points, that's all. The first one is with regards to the Small Town Advisory Meeting. M&L is going to request from the government approximately $300,000 to promote the upcoming municipal election on October 2nd. They're going to do it in the form of a video, flyers, pamphlets, ads, or whatever. So all those people that are out there that want to be part of the council, this is your opportunity on the 2nd of October to put your name forward, and we'll gladly welcome you here in the chamber. Just the other point, the museum had a fantastic year in 2024, and the same looks like in 2025. Every time you go by there on the weekend, the parking lot is full, and there's all kinds of rave reviews coming from it. And like the Deputy Mayor and the Mayor said, buy local, buy Canadian, and help everybody else through this very difficult and untimely event. And the last one, this one is particular for Councillor King. Ice fishing started on the weekend, so be careful out on the ice because it may be thinner in some places than it is in others. So catch lots of fish, but be safe doing it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Councillor Crowley. Very good. Councillor King. Councillor Windsor. Nothing there. Well, you had enough time tonight anyway. I just have one item here. The CAO advised me yesterday that the Minister of ACOA, Goody Hutchings, and MNL extended an invitation for the Mayor to attend an upcoming meeting with some other municipalities regarding the cell phone service. So, we're dealing with a federal minister now. We got a lot of information that I'm going to share on your behalf, and can't wait for the meeting. As of now, as of late, there's no time set or date, but we're waiting to hear on that now the next day or so. So that's good. And like I said before, we're not going to relent. We're going to keep it up and keep it up till we can do it no longer, but we're going to keep it up. Okay, that is the agenda, folks. Date of the next meeting is March 4th at 6 p.m. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Windsor. All those in favor? Meeting is adjourned.